Hi everybody, it's Christina from Card Making Magic. Today we're going to concentrate on the circular box, and this is the box and card builder die set. Now there's 27 pieces in this set and they'll all come to you in a cellophane bag. So what I do is I take mine out of the bag and I add them to a magnetic sheet, and that way I don't lose any of the pieces that are in my die set. So my colour scheme for this box is going to be black with pink, and we're going to turn this pink into a rose that will sit on top of the box lid. You will of course need to make sure that you have enough card in the colours that you want to create your box base and your box lid and the top to your box. So let's start with cutting the base. So we'll take one of our black sheets and we'll take these. Now these are the sides to the top and the bottom of the box. Now if you look at these circular dies, I'm going to take this one out of the way. This is the it's like a web with a stitched edge around it, so that's the top of the very top of the box. Now if you go to these, which are the two largest dies on this circle, and they have no other edges other than cutting. Now if you look very carefully at the edges, you have the cutting edge on this one on the inside of this die, and on this one the cutting edge is on the outside of the die, and so one is the top and one is the base, and they will need to be cut for your box. So from the black card I've cut one of each, and then if you look, if you put them together, you can see that one is just slightly bigger than the other. So the larger one is your top and the smaller one is the base. Now again, these will also need to be cut. Now for these you'll need to cut two of each. These are for the top and these are for the base. So you need to cut two of each. Now I'm just bringing my platform back through because it's easier to work on this side. So I have these now cut, and I need to cut exactly the same again. Now once you have these cut, and these are the sides to the top of the box, I'm going to take this long thin die and I'm going to place it right on the edge of my die cut. Now if you look, you have a long tab there, and that's where you're going to glue it to the other tab, so we'll leave that bit free. We'll start our measuring from this side. So we're just going to add this into there and run that through the die cutting machine. Now once you've done that to both of your pieces, I'm just going to snip this little end off here. Once you've done that to both your pieces, you will have a pattern in both of them that is the same. Now if you take the other long piece, and this is the one that goes with this, we're going to pop this in the middle as well. Just line it up, tape it down, and we're going to run both pieces through the machine again to add that pattern into that scalloped edge. So once you've done that and you remove the die, you then have this pattern into your sides to your box lid. So these are the two circles that you cut. One is slightly larger than the other. So this larger one goes with the box lid, and the smaller one goes with the box base. So keep those together and then you know which goes with which. Now we'll move on to the next die down. We've used the two larger ones for the tops and the bottom. This is a a stitched edge one, and so is this. But again, look at the dies themselves. This one has the cutting edge on the outside with the stitched edge on the inside. This one has the stitched edge on the outside and the cutting edge is on the inside. So again, they are going to cut you to slightly different sizes. So let's do some layering on this card. We'll do the largest one in pink, I think. Let's get rid of that. We'll do that largest one in pink, we'll do the smallest one in black. And then with the black one, we'll also add in the filigree die. But we'll do this die cutting first. So once you've cut them, if you look, the pink one is just slightly bigger than the black one. Now into that black one we're going to add this piece and we're going to cut that pattern into that black card. So let's just recap on what we've done. We've taken the two outer dies, we've cut the biggest one for the top, the smaller one for the bottom, and these are the ones with the cutting edges on different sides. We've taken the largest of the side pieces and we've cut that twice, and that's also for the bottom. Then we've taken the smallest die and we've cut two more pieces in black, and this is for the top. We've used this edge along the side and we've used this pattern piece to create the pattern in the middle. And then using the scalloped dies, using the stitched edge dies, one is on the pattern and the other is in the card. And we've cut these again in different colours. And we've layered them up. We're going to layer them up so that they will be like that. And that's also for the top of your box. Now we're going to take this die and then we're coming over to all the flower dies that are on the other piece of magnetic sheet. So we can pop them back out the way. Now we're going to take all the flower dies and we're going to cut them in pink, all of them. And then we'll have little black stamens and we'll find some green card to cut our leaves. And we're going to cut these for as many layers or as many flowers as we want to make. So once you have as many flowers and leaves cut as you want, we're going to do some colouring. Now I've cut my leaves in two different shades of green. And all I'm doing is taking some green pencil and a white one. And on this darker one, I'm taking the darkest of the pencil. All I'm doing is starting at the bottom and just brushing my way up. Now as you're going through it, you can feel the veins in the leaf that have been put in by the die cut. So we're just going to follow those veins and add some colour to that leaf. So I'll just do this one and then I'll show you what I've done with the darker ones. Now if you can see, the veins are just standing out in the pencil. So don't tell me you can't draw, because I'm not drawing anything, I'm just adding some colour to those leaves. Now to the darker ones I've used some white and I've done exactly the same, following the veins. And then once I've done that, I've come to the very palest one and I've just added in some very pale green. Now if you can see, we've got some pale green leaves and some dark green leaves, and I'm going to add these to my rose once it's completed. So now let's make some of the flowers up. So I'm going to do mine in three different shades of pink. This one is picked raspberry, this one is worn lipstick, and this one that I'm going to do is in Victorian velvet. So let's get busy now and colour all these petals, and then I'll show you how to put them all together to get this kind of a flower for the top of your card. So the first thing we're going to do is, I'm going to stick with the Victorian velvet. I have a little finger dauber, and all I'm doing is just inking around the petals. And because these petals can be seen, I'm doing both sides. So I'm going to do all of them, starting with the smallest and working my way up to the biggest. Now I'm sure you don't want to watch me inking all these up, so I shall go away and come back to you when I've done them all. Now, because I want my flowers to be really full, I've doubled up on some of the petals just to make it really full as it sits on the card. So I'm going to start with the smallest, and I'm going to run my bowl tool just around the card itself, and all this is doing is just softening up the fibres, and if you push right down into it, you'll really make it curl. Now what we're going to do is just trim into those sides just a little bit, not cutting through it but just cutting into the centre, and then we can fold that up a little bit easier. So we need to make sure that we've got some glue on all of those little petals, and before we do that we can add the stamen into the centre. So let's just pop a little bit of glue on there and pop that into the middle and really push it down, curl it round your bowl tool, and then just add a little bit of glue onto these side pieces so that that now all stays curled up as the centre of your flower. So just pop that on one side, and you're going to do the rest the same way. So you're just going to curl this around the edges. Now we want these petals to curl in, so I'm not doing them the opposite way. I'm just really pushing that down to get a good curl into that flower. And then I'm going to take my scissors, and again I'm just going to snip in towards the centre. Not all the way, just a little bit. And then what we can do with this one is again add some glue and curl that petal over the top of that one. Now again, really push it down with your ball tool, and then with a spot of glue in the middle again, we're going to push this one right into that centre, and again curl it up around your ball tool. So there is the centre of your flower. Now with this one we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to soften up the fibres in the card, push it down, and again just add some glue, but go around the sides if you can. And then this time when you push it in, offset your petals and really push that down, and make sure that that's stuck around the sides. Now as you can see, it's getting larger, so we'll do the same with this one. Now the reason you're folding one of those petals over is just to make sure that it's a little bit smaller and will sit around this cup easier. Now on this one, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to put my glue to the bottom and then push that into the flower, offsetting the petals as I go. Now on the next one, I'm going to curl these petals back, so I'm just doing along the edges. And then once I've done that, I'm going to flip it over and push it into the middle so that it curls up. So these now are starting to curl this way. And once I push it into the middle, you can see what's happening. The edges are curling back, but the petals are coming up. And again, we can add some glue, offset those petals, and now we're starting to get the shape of our rose. So let's just pop this into that middle there. Now for the next one, we're going to do the same, and then we're going to do exactly the same on all of them, and I'm going to do it on both sides to give it a lot of movement. It will move a lot easier now it's all soft. Now again, just snip down one of these petals towards the centre, add a little bit of glue along there. Now I'm using hot glue because it holds quicker and better than a wet glue. Now once I've got that glued, I can then start to just pull my edges back and push it into shape with my fingers, and don't worry about creasing the card, that's what you want to do. Now once you've done that, you're going to sit this into the centre, offset your petals and push that right down. Now you're going to build your way up with that one, then that one, and then these two are on the bottom, and you're going to do exactly the same. Curl the edges, snip into the middle, fold them back with your fingers and build it up so that you've got one of these on the last layer. So there we have our 3 flowers and the 2 different shades of green in leaves with the 2 different styles. And now we can put the box together and get ready to add these flowers to the top of our lid. So to start with, take your strips, this is the lid, and we're just going to line this up on here and score just along those tabs. And that just makes it easier to bend them over when we're ready to glue the box together. And you're going to do this on all 4 of the pieces. So just a nice neat score line down there, and keep it with the appropriate piece. Now I'll take the scoreboard away, and what we're going to do is just add some curve into this card, and we're going to fold all those little tabs back. So once you've done that, if you look, you have a long piece there and a long piece there, so you're going to add this one to the top of that long piece and glue that in place. And then once you've done that, curl them round, keep the long tab there, put the shorter one on the top, and all I'm going to do with this is just paper clip these together for the time being, because I want to make sure that I can make any adjustments to this lid before I glue everything down. So we make sure all the tabs are facing inside, and we'll fit the bottom of the box to the inside. There we go. Now, as long as you're happy that that's not too big or too small, you can go ahead and glue it. If you're not, you can always readjust this. And this is why you do this in the first place. So let's get all these tabs bent down properly. Add the glue to all these tabs. And then we can pop that bottom back in again. And then we need to glue that side piece down so that nothing comes undone again. Okay, so let's just get this back in there. Press it down so that it's all neatly glued in place. And then along there we can just add in our glue, and I'll put the paper clips back on just to make sure that that's dry. So now we can make sure all those tabs are pushed in place. Okay, so that's your base done, and now we're going to do the same with this. Now, once you've got these all stuck together and you're doing them exactly the same, you're going to take your 2 dies that you used originally and cut 2 more panels, and one's going to glue on this side and this one is going to glue on that one, and that then will just hide all these workings that are on the back of your box, on the bottom of your box, and make it look nice and tidy. And so now to the box lid we can add all the other pieces in that we need. We can add our filigree piece to the top. And now to the top of this we can add in all our leaves. So we'll put the darker ones on the bottom because they would be the ones that are in the shade. So we'll have to dry run first, and then we'll put the paler ones in there. We'll have the roses to the centre, and we'll tuck these other leaves just around the edge. And once you have your flowers in place, you have a beautiful box that's ready to send to your recipient. So I've tied a pink ribbon around mine, and if you line it with some pink tissue paper, that's a really pretty gift to give to someone. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please join me on the next one, and I'll see you again soon. And why not subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.